Well, you all know the headline, GST 2.0 is here, and many things that we, the middle class, consume are now going to be taxed less. There are only two key rates left now, 5% and 18%. The 12 and 28% is gone. Yes, there is a new 40% rate as well. It will be levied on things that the government considers to be bad for you and me, like sugary drinks, for instance, or luxuries that the rich buy, big motorbikes and big cars. The government thinks they can afford that, they better pay the tax. Most things that were earlier at the 12% rate have gone down to 5%. Some which were at 18% have also been brought down into the 5% bracket to make them affordable for you and me. Goods that were at 28% have obviously mostly drawn to 18%. And a very small set out of that have moved to the 40% bracket, as I told you. But even here, the final tax is likely to be lower, since the extra cess that was imposed on them till now has been removed. So here's the key question for you and me. What does it really mean for the middle class? Let's start in the kitchen. Packaged AUHT milk used to be taxed at 5%. Now it is entirely exempt. No GST at all. If you bought packaged paneer, that too has gone into the zero GST list. And that is also the case for packaged dahi, which many urban middle class people now buy. That has also gone to zero. Butter, ghee, cheese, tomato ketchup, biscuits, namkeen, pasta and noodles, which are taxed between 12 to 18%, have all been brought down to just 5% now. Even kitchen utensils like your favorite karai or tableware like a fork and spoon have also been brought down from 12% to 5%. So everything should become cheaper. Now let's move from the kitchen to the bathroom, because personal care products make up a big part of the monthly expenditure of a middle class family. And here what are we looking at? We're looking at soaps, shampoos, hair oil, shaving cream. All of these have moved from the 18% bracket to the 5% bracket. Move to your wardrobe now. Clothes and shoes, which cost between 1,000 rupees to 2,500. Earlier, they used to attract a tax of 12% GST. Now that has been brought down to 5% only. But here's a catch. If you buy clothes and shoes that cost more than 2,500 rupees, earlier these used to be taxed at 12%. The GST burden will now go up from the old 12 to 18%. So you will have to pay more for being too fashionable. But there's some good news for you if you also spend a lot on beauty salons and on getting that latest haircut. The GST on rate here has been slashed from 18% to just 5%. Big rate cuts too for wellness and health. So if you are a member of a gym, then earlier you were paying 18% GST. Now that has been brought down to just 5%. Similarly, this kind of a rate cut has also taken place for all kinds of fitness services, yoga lessons, or if you had a personal trainer who charged you GST, all of these are down from 18% to 5%. Medicines mostly will be costing much less. Commonly used drugs like paracetamol, painkillers, cough syrups are now all down from 12% GST to 5%. Life-saving drugs, including those for rare disorders and cancer, are now completely tax exempt. But the biggest healthcare bonanza is in health insurance premium. We've all been cribbing about it. Health insurance was being taxed at 18% GST. That has now become completely tax exempt. And this is probably the biggest tax saving for an average middle class family, which does not have other chronic illnesses and therefore chronic regular medical expenses. Much of education was already tax exempt, so there's not much change here, but there were certain regular expenses which were taxed at 12%. For instance, notebooks, pencils, pens, erasers, rulers, reference books, all of these have now become tax exempt. The biggest change here is on smaller passenger cars and bikes. Cars that are below 1300cc used to face a GST of 28%. Plus a 1 to 3% cess, that has been brought down to 18% now. So these will be big savings for some people. Similarly, bikes that are 350cc or less are also down from 28% to the 18% slab. So a Maruti Swift might cost you anywhere between 50,000 to 80,000 rupees less after the new GST rates come into effect. Even bigger cars and bikes, which have actually been moved up to the 40% GST slab, will actually become cheaper. Why? Because earlier they faced heavy cesses, and that made them the total tax incidence on them anywhere between 43% to 50%. So in all of these cases, that has just come down to 40%. And some luxury car makers have already announced price cuts. Take Toyota Fortuner, for instance. It is likely to cost about 3.5 lakh rupees less now after the GST cuts. Other consumer durables like TV sets, refrigerators, air conditioners, and washing machines are all likely to get cheaper because the GST that we used to be levied on them has been brought on from 28% to 18%, which will be a big tax saving. So this is the big picture that we are seeing. Let us now look at what impact it will have on individual products that we use most commonly, the most commonly bought brands in India. So start with milk. A pack of Amul Taza milk currently retails for 77 rupees. The GST cut will bring its retail price down to 73 rupees roughly. If you are a more high-end consumer and you buy Nestle A+ milk, then the price could drop from 111 rupees that you pay right now to about 106 rupees. Amul Paneer, which sells for 95 rupees for a 200-gram pack, could end up being sold for 90 rupees 50 paise. A 250-gram pack of Parle G biscuit, the largest selling biscuit in India, currently retails at about 30 rupees a pack. It will cost a little less than 27 rupees. That's a 250-gram pack I'm talking about. A standard pack of Oreo biscuits costing about 45 rupees right now will drop to roughly 40 rupees. Haldiram's Bhujia, a 400-gram pack which retails at 120 rupees, would cost roughly 113 rupees. So we're seeing savings everywhere. Similarly, a full GST cut benefit will make a 1 kg bottle of Maggi rich tomato ketchup, the largest selling tomato ketchup according to some studies, drop from 155 rupees to about 145 rupees. The largest selling soaps in India are Dettol and Lux. A 4-pack Dettol soap of 150 grams each has an MRP of 168 rupees, and if the entire tax cut is passed on to us, we will end up paying 149 rupees on that. A 3-pack Lux soap, again 150 grams each, retails for 190 rupees. That will cost 169 after the GST cut, provided, of course, that I'm saying repeatedly, that the entire benefit is passed on to us. I will take 3 typical middle-class families to get a sense of how much they are likely to save, provided, as I said, they were currently paying the maximum retail price on things they bought, and also that companies will pass on the entire GST cuts to consumers without raising base prices. So they were paying the full rate and they will get the full benefit. Family A earning 60,000 rupees per month, Family B earning 90,000 rupees a month, and Family C with a monthly budget of 1,20,000 rupees a month. There are more types, but I'm only looking at these 3. I based my estimates on market surveys and the government's expenditure surveys to calculate the cost savings. I'm not going to go into the detail and bore you with that. Family A mostly eats at home and currently spends about 21,000 rupees on food. That will drop to 20,450. So they will save about, I'll say, 550 rupees on food after the new lower GST rates come into play. Their personal care expenses, soaps, shampoo, toothpaste, etc., will drop from about 3,000 rupees a month to roughly 2,750 rupees a month, or 250 rupees saved. Their average monthly expenses on clothes, shoes, and accessories for 4 people, including school-going children, remember these are all for 4 people, will most likely drop from 3,000 rupees to 2,850, a small saving of 150 rupees per month. Cheaper medicines and lower health insurance costs will bring the cost of healthcare down from 3,000 a month to about 2,750 a month, an average monthly saving of 250 rupees. Now, these families don't earn enough to spend big on durables, and they probably already own the refrigerator and they own a TV set, and they aren't going to go out and replace them just because the GST rates have dropped. They don't have that kind of cash flow. At best, their average monthly expenditure on such durables might drop from 2,400 rupees. Remember, it is being averaged across many, many years. So from 2,400 to 2,300 rupees. So just 100 rupees saved per month. So in total, this kind of family might end up saving about 1,300 rupees a month, which is not bad, but it's not really spectacular either. So let's move on to family B, the family which has a monthly budget of about 90,000 rupees. What happens when we look at food? Food at home, which costs them about 27,000, will fall to roughly 26,300, or about 700 rupees saved per month. Personal care items will drop from 4,500 to about 4,000. That's 500 saved per month. And then we look at clothing and footwear and other such accessories that might drop roughly from 5,500 a month to 5,200. That's 300 rupees saved for a family of 4. Note that I'm assuming here that such families are less likely to buy shoes and clothes which cost more than 2,500 rupees. These families probably do spend on gyms, wellness, and beauty salons, which have all seen GST rate cuts. And if you take all of that together and along with the expenses on health insurance and regular medicines that they buy, their monthly average expense will see a decent drop here, probably from somewhere around 5,500 rupees to about 4,700 rupees. So they'll end up saving about 800 rupees here per month. They might invest in a new car now that GST rates have been slashed, and all these things are happening in the auto space. Similarly, they might also change their old TV for a new one or get a new washing machine. One doesn't know. That might happen. My rough estimate is that such families spend about 11,000 rupees on durables per month. As I've told you, this is an average of many, many months over several years. So that's an average. That expenditure will drop to about 10,500. Why is this not a huge saving? One is because it's an average of many years, and because there hasn't been any GST cut on smartphones and laptops, gadgets that such middle-class families change most often. Overall, these families are likely to save about 2,800 a month if GST cuts are passed on fully in their entirety. Finally, let us look at family C, which has a budget, as I said, of about 1,20,000 a month. Now, surveys tell us that such families spend a lower proportion of their total income on food at home. So that will most likely drop from 30,000 a month to about 29,200. Again, because the absolute amount is more, so they'll save about 800 rupees on food costs. Personal care costs will drop significantly for them since they're likely to spend on higher value items here, probably from 7,200 a month to 6,400, or again, about 800 rupees saved here. They will see a much lower saving, in my opinion, in clothing and footwear, because what they save on clothes that cost less than 2,500 rupees will be more or less offset by the increased GST paid on more expensive clothes and footwear. In fact, I suspect they'll end up spending a little bit more. So at best, it will drop from 8,500 a month, that's the average, to about 8,300 a month, a small saving of 200 rupees. They're spending on healthcare, insurance, wellness, fitness and beauty services, and also leisure, like going for a holiday or to a hotel, will fall from about 18,000 a month to 17,000, saving them about 1,000 rupees per month. That's a decent amount. Finally, these families are most likely to replace durables at a much faster rate than others, so their spending on durables will probably drop from an average of 16,000 a month, taken over many months, many years for 4 people, to 15,000, or a saving of 1,000 rupees per month. That means their expenses will go down by a monthly average of 3,800 rupees. If we put these 3 families side by side, then family A saves about 1,300 rupees a month on, or 2.2% of their monthly income of 60,000. Family B saves about 2,800 rupees, or 3.1% on a monthly income of 90,000. And finally, family C, it saves 3,800 rupees, or 3.2% on a family income of 1,20,000. These are obviously estimates. But the trend is that I've been saying throughout, this will only happen if companies pass on the full benefit of the rate cuts to consumers. They could do the opposite by raising the base price such that retail prices remain exactly where they are. This has happened in the past, by the way, when GST rates have been slashed. Big companies have raised base prices so that consumers didn't gain anything. And in fact, they've even been fined for this in the past. So what is likely is that companies will raise their base price slightly to improve their own profit margins, and consumers will also benefit because the lower GST rates will bring the MRP down even after the base price is raised. But I want to leave you with something to think about based on your real world experience. At least that's my real world experience. Many of us now buy our daily groceries from quick commerce companies like Blinkit or Instamart or Zepto. Most products of daily use are already heavily discounted on these apps. For instance, take the examples I've used earlier. A 1 liter pack of Amul Taza, which retails for 77 rupees, is available for 74 rupees on Blinkit, as I record this video right now. Amul Paneer, which has an MRP of 95 rupees, can be bought for 89 rupees on Swiggy's Instamart. A 3-bar pack of Lux, retailing at 190 rupees, is available for 143 on Blinkit. And Clinic Plus shampoo, which I said is one of the largest selling, with an MRP of 393 rupees, is selling for 267 rupees on Instamart. So you see that it's already heavily discounted. And by the way, this is equally true if you're one of those people who goes to a big supermarket to do their monthly shopping because you get big discounts there. Yes, they also give you huge discounts on the retail price. So this is the big question. Will quick service apps and supermarkets reduce their prices further because the GST component is down? Or will they use it as an opportunity to reduce their discounts because they're bleeding, right? And also remember that all these apps now have to pay 18% GST on the delivery charges, which is not much, about 2.5 rupees per delivery, but their costs will go up slightly. So in real terms, will an average middle-class family really gain on the GST cuts on items of daily use? We will have to wait and see, and only then we will know. The things that will definitely become cheaper are cars of all kinds, health insurance definitely, medical bills, and fitness and wellness. And that means the upper middle class is likely to gain the most from GST 2.0. I will revisit this in a couple of months and see what has really happened on the ground once these rate cuts come into play. But before you go, here's an appeal from us. You know, the reason why the Quint is able to focus on news, data-driven stories, and issues that matter to you is also because of you. Especially those of you who are our members, part of the wider Quint family. We all know newsrooms can only speak the truth on behalf of the people if they are independent. And running an independent newsroom costs a lot of money. That is where you can contribute by becoming members of Quint. Scan the QR code that is on your screen right now and choose one of those membership plans that you see. Your help will keep us going, and we promise that we will use every paisa to speak truth to power.